Hey, Jordan.
Hey, Kyle. It's windy, but we have today an old Model 3 and a new Model 3. So we thought, why not put them together and talk about so many changes side by side?
Right, so the old Model 3, could be as old as 2017 just from looking at it.
Right.
However, that one's a 2023, so it's near the end of the run because it was in 2024 that Tesla refreshed the entire car, codenamed Highland.
Right. So for all intents and purposes, these could be 1 month apart. They're not, but like that's how it was. At one point, people went in and bought a Model 3 that looked like this, and then a month later, they started looking like this. I'm wondering how many just regular drivers would really know or care, but I really knew and I really cared, which is why I have that one.
Right, so Jordan has the new Model 3, and I actually owned the old Model 3, but what's funny, Jordan, is I took my Model S in for service just recently. We're putting the Model S track pack on it, and this was the loaner that I got to choose from. They had a stack this thick of key cards of available loaners, and I was like, oh, Jordan's up at the hub today. Let's get the newest old Model 3, if that makes sense.
Yep.
And that's this car right here, both rear-wheel drive Model 3s.
Right.
And what we're going to do is basically just kind of walk around them, check them out, see if it really is worth the upgrade. Because, we all got super excited about Highland when it first came out. I remember I got to make one of the very first videos on the Model 3 Highland at the IAA in Germany was it September of 23, I think it was?
Yeah, it was a while ago.
A while ago when that car came out. And I think now that markets have shifted, values have dropped significantly on the older cars, what I really want to know is if someone has an older 3, should they dump it and get a new one?
Right. We've played the same argument with Model Y. Really, every time a new car comes out, it's like, okay, how new of one do you have to care about the newest one?
Right.
But I think we're in this age where there's so many Model 3s, especially like ex-rental cars, like from 6-7 years ago now, that are so cheap, which I do still think is a lot of car for the money. But there are just so many things in this base model Highland that are just really, really, really nice to have. Now, I have the long range rear wheel drive. There was a LFP model, so standard range rear wheel drive Highland.
Right.
This one, I believe, is the LFP one.
Yes, this loaner, the way that I could tell was I set it to 100% and it recommends a 100% charge limit, indicating it's the standard range LFP variant. Your car recommends an 80% charging limit. In fact, your car at 80% is about what that car will do at 100%.
Right. So
your daily charging range is unchanged.
Yep.
But you can bump it up that last 20% for a road trip. You also have better charging performance. Well, different charging performance.
Yeah.
Overall, still pretty robust charging.
But starting with looks,
let's run through the old one. Let's see it.
It's subjective because, Colton just tweeted today, he says nothing looks better than an old Model 3.
What?
Yeah.
Is he blind?
That was, maybe.
Nothing looks better? No Audi RS e-tron GT?
Maybe he meant the best Model 3 looking is the old Model 3. I don't know.
It looks like a frog, and I've never loved the Model 3. I remember actually the very first time I saw the Model 3. I was actually still working for Tesla at the time.
Right.
And I saw, an engineering development car roll up. This was early on. This was before market introduction and everything. And I was like, whoa, that's not good looking at all. I just remember, because I saw out of the corner of my eye this, and this is really before the rest of the world had seen it at the time. I basically saw this view right here, and I was like, it looks like a little bit of eyeliner, sometimes when like girls put the eyeliner and it continues back.
Yep.
And I was like, that doesn't really work on a car. Maybe it works on a lady, but not the car.
Yep.
There was something about this, and I still don't like this, Jordan. I still don't think it looks good.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I've always been fine with it, but I do agree it never looked like really that good. And now you see them everywhere, which means they look even less good to me now. Because I like seeing things that are not that common.
Right. So it is really turned into a Prius in a sense. They're everywhere.
Right. But when the new one came out, everyone was like, okay, what are they going to change? And it wasn't a lot that was changed, honestly.
Well, we'll get into that. So show us inside, show us around the back. So, the styling on this, everyone knows what Model 3 looks like. I also think it's so funny. This is my loaner car, but it clearly was someone who traded it in because that's not factory. The tints aren't factory. It has, I think this is illegal front window tint on a loaner and no front license plate, which is required here. Not that I put them on my cars, but I just think that's really funny. It's also super windy out here, dude.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's why we're not efficiency testing right now.
Yeah. We've already done an efficiency test of old and new 3.
Yeah.
What was the difference?
It's just new is a huge improvement.
Okay.
Which is why I think even 80% of mine actually is better than this 100%.
Sure.
The Highland LFP, maybe that was the comparison.
Yeah, I might even do a battery health test on this tonight for our testing channel because Tesla offers that now.
That'd be really interesting.
Let's take a look inside, dude. So you have the old style interior, but because this is a 2023, it still has many of the updates that this car received throughout its first generation. So there was multiple different steering wheels on offer. There were multiple different iterations and versions of these seats.
Yep.
Like the early ones in mine, I think just are better in my 2019.
They're comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, super comfy. These don't feel nearly as good. And then, there was updates like this has a heat pump.
Yeah.
So the thing with Tesla is this car really significantly improved throughout its entire generation. So
which no one really focuses on because Tesla didn't come out and say new model year, here's all the changes. It was just like, I mean, you could go find them, but they didn't do like a big event. Like, like when Ford's like, here's the 2024 Mustang.
Well, Tesla never even focused on model year. It was just, oh, this month, boom, it's got this.
Yeah, you never really knew what had what. So
you always just bought the newest one.
The enthusiasts would know, but
right, exactly. And so like this has the updated headlight unit with the projector headlights that should be able to do matrix at some point. Autopilot hardware had changed and improved.
Yeah.
Just so many little things. Like this is post parking sensor.
Yep.
Mine is in there, but it has the parking sensors. I like the OG parking sensor, Jordan.
And so with the front end though, you say it looks like a frog.
Yes.
I do kind of see that, and that's what people say about Model Y as well, because it just looks about the same.
Yeah.
I like this, and that's what is removed on the Highland. And that was one downside to me of the refresh.
Yeah, so no fog lights on Highland.
Right.
And also the air scoop is gone? No, it's got a... No, yeah, air scoop's gone.
The air scoop's on the side.
This was a functional air scoop, wasn't it?
Yeah. So the Performance Highland has that.
Okay.
But not the all-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive in my case.
Yeah, so much more basic front end on here. I think overall this does look a little bit more menacing, Jordan.
Yeah. It's got the sleek like headlight design. Like that just has kind of bulbous headlights. Like that's like the 996 headlight. This is like 997.
Okay, yeah, Porsche nerd coming out here. Dude, it's like we're in a hurricane. What the heck?
Yeah, this is crazy. But
we should also mention your car was wrapped. This is not a factory color.
Right. That could have been the first thing we said.
Oh my gosh, I'm struggling to stand up.
Float away.
Yeah. So shout out to Test Bros for wrapping this one.
Yeah. So really cool color. At least I like it. You don't like it.
I don't like the
people
color,
in the comments can be the tiebreaker, I guess.
Now they'll always disagree with me just out of principle. So.
Right. It was the free color though, the dark gray, which was a different dark gray than the earlier free color.
Right.
So
Midnight Silver to what do they call the new one?
I don't remember. They're always changing their color names too. But
all right, walk us around this thing, Jordan. So no scoop up front. So to me, this looks a little bit bulbous and bland. I think they really fixed that on the Performance.
Yeah, Performance front end, amazing. This front end, not my favorite, but it's fine. But the headlights are really nice.
It's probably more for aero and functionality because this car is magically efficient, we keep finding.
And magically efficient even compared to its own generation of Performance. So I do think the air scoops have a big hurt. I do have it back on the air wheels at the moment because Timon stole my Martian wheels for some reason.
Okay, yeah. Well, Timon's wheel situation.
Timon's wheel situation is complicated.
Just Timon's situation.
But the side, this whole side middle is the same.
Oh, really?
Looking at both cars, it really is like identical down to the mirrors, the door handles. The door shape.
The main structure of the car didn't change at all.
The eyeliner thing you talked about.
Yeah, so if you look at the new one from here and the old one from here, Jordan, I don't think anyone could tell which one's which.
You're right. They are very, very similar.
Yeah,
but
totally.
It's really around back.
Did you pick your pants to match your car?
I didn't. No, I've had these for years, so this is convenient.
Is that why you wrapped it this color?
Yeah, I gotta match that one pair of shorts. This has the really cool, same with the front. It's just like a sideline, whereas the old, you see the light twirl around, it almost like completes itself.
Yeah.
This one's just like more aggressive.
Okay.
And the color of the car pops into here, which is cool. On the free color or dark color in general, you don't really see that as much. But when it's a light color, like I saw on Andreas's car first, and I was like, that's what I have to have, a light color.
Yeah, well, I really love what they did with the back end. I think totally refreshed. I mean, even just the way the diffuser has those little lights built into it, it just looks a lot more polished back
Yep.
here than the new car.
And it does look less bulbous. I mean, there is more color there, where here they use the effect that a lot of cars use, where it's darker down here to make it look slimmer and look sleeker.
And it does. I mean, it certainly, even though they're the same height, this does look like a smaller or even shorter car than this one.
Yeah. Badging, I guess that one's been debadged.
No, they never had a
they
badge.
never had a badge. Yeah, right.
Same with yours.
Yeah, I just had to put mine on.
Yeah, because you have one motor, so it's an A motor.
But Tesla did themselves, you know, this is a different one, but Tesla did the lettering here instead of the T on the back, whereas the old ones had the T.
And this guy, whoever owned this car before, really accentuated the T. Can we just ask our viewers not to do this?
This is terrible.
Yeah.
Anyone thinking about red badges, just no.
How is this a loaner car? That's what I don't understand.
That's crazy.
It's really funny. I
Should we go bring them some badges? Be like, listen,
you got to take this red
You gotta
badge
fix
off
this.
this thing. Okay.
But
and interior, let's show
interior. That's where another huge improvement came for me. Like you said, I like your seats a lot in your Model 3.
Yeah.
But ventilated seats is such a huge benefit, in my opinion.
And that was not available on the previous gen at all.
Yeah. So that when did that come with the Model S?
Model S was Palladium.
Okay.
Yeah, so 2021, I think.
Right. Whereas, now this has ventilated seats, which is huge.
Yep.
And very Spartan interior, and ambient lighting through the door, across the dash, into the back doors. So
The whole thing just looks so much more premium to the eye. You've got an interesting use of materials here with the white seats. I just think, overall, way nicer inside. And we'll drive them in a second, and you'll just see how much quieter I think this car is going to be. Because Jordan, I have been in my old 2019 3, which we've removed some sound deadening. That car's really loud.
Yep.
This was super loud. I was super shocked.
Yeah, they didn't really make that many NVH improvements until Highland, which is magically quieter, rides better. We'll get into all of that in a minute. But I did do some things to this though. So first of all, my car didn't come with floor mats, which I think is crazy still.
Okay.
So Joe sent some, which is really awesome. They're all weather, so it's nice. I don't know if they're the prettiest per se, but they're very functional.
Yeah, I don't think they look very good.
And then I added, I was curious to add buttons to what everyone's complaining about.
Should I jump in here?
Yeah.
Because I'm noticing you've got your AC blasting, first of all. But Mr. Efficiency over here, burning juice. You got stocks on your car?
Yeah. So I added stocks by Enhance Auto.
I don't think they're put on properly.
They are.
Really? This is way too far down.
They look a little funky, but that's where they sit.
Okay.
I don't know if I loved... They are nice once it's already running and connected, but
wow.
Here's the thing, Kyle. We get into a car and we want to know how fast can we just throw it into drive.
Yes.
These, you can't. You just have to wait for 2 minutes for the commander to connect, then they'll work.
Then I'm not interested anymore.
So once you get to your destination, you're maneuvering, they're great, but I'm the one who loves the turn signals on the steering wheel. It's nice to have both options.
Yeah.
But they're fine stocks.
Okay.
I have the knob in the middle. It's also not necessary, but it's kind of fun to have that added functionality.
And that's all from Enhance Auto then.
Yeah.
So sexy buttons.
Bunch of sexy buttons, Enhance Auto stuff, bunch of buttons behind the screen that all do things. So it's I'm playing with it, but I don't feel like it needs any of that. I like the Spartanness.
Right, I actually agree. I think I'm okay with the turn signals. I like the new sexy button update that allows you to go into drive in reverse with the right scroll wheel.
Yeah.
I think that solves the need for this stock for me.
Yep.
And it auto shifts, Jordan, but the problem is you have to have your seatbelt on when it auto shifts.
Yeah, and it doesn't really auto shift that well in my opinion.
Okay.
There's so many places where I go and it just doesn't know what to do.
Oh, interesting.
So
I have had the opposite experience in my S. I'd say 95% is perfect.
that's what Brandon says too. I just think I have weird parking at all my destinations, so it just doesn't really know what I want in slightly abnormal parking lots.
Just overall, so nice in here though, Jordan. We should drive both. I think we should go in that car
Let's
and drive.
the old one first.
And just give rough impressions. I've already gone through and done a full tour of the differences. We've shown the new structural enhancements for side crash performance and laminated glass and all these other things. But let's go old school. Let's go drive the old one. Because some of the old ones, the value on them, Jordan, is amazing.
Yeah, it's still a good car.
They're great cars. So let's go drive that one, and then we'll drive this one, and that'll be that.
Perfect. All right, in the old school.
Yeah, my loaner from Tesla. First of all, there is something nice about this steering wheel.
Yep.
To me, really great wheel. And I love the placement of the stalks. It's just boom, right there. Just like that. So nice. This is a 2023 LFP rear drive 3 with under 10,000 miles on it.
Right. So yeah, not too
Maybe I'll-
many driving.
Maybe I'll do a battery health test on this. That'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was built in January of 23.
Wow.
So
it
it's
is
2 and a bit years old,
Yep.
but barely driven.
Right.
And traded in. Maybe, don't know
The
why.
person who had it just didn't really drive it.
Yeah, so
They put badges on there like shamed, so they couldn't take it out.
Gotta give it back. Red badges. Man, don't do the red badge thing. That is not the move. Oh my gosh, it's a Nismo Juke.
That's cool.
It's not the GTR one, though. That's really cool.
No, that's like extra special.
All right, so we're out in the old 3. Now, I have done hundreds of thousands of miles in these cars.
Right.
They have the best throttle tuning. They have really quick, fun steering. Makes the car very agile. This one's not aligned properly. It's a little bit off.
they all come curved and they all come misaligned.
Yeah, well, the alignment, like, you're almost more, like you can see I was just a little bit this way to keep it straight.
Yep.
It's a little bit over-exaggerated in these because it has such a quick rack.
Yep.
So you really do feel every single little thing that's off in this car. But it's loud, dude. So it's windy out, yes, but I'm getting wind noise, so much road noise.
Yeah, right.
And we're about to do the industry standard out of spec railroad crossing test, which we hit normally at 40 miles an hour. Honestly, not too bad.
Yeah, holds itself okay, but definitely noisy.
Yeah, the impact noise from the
Yeah.
tires. And this one's on the OE wheels and tires, arrow wheel for arrow wheel.
Yep.
Not that it's like an instrumented test or anything, but we get a sense of what's going on. And yeah, we'll take it through a couple corners because I think that's really the sweet spot of this car was Tesla went almost a little bit too sporty with the ride.
Yep.
And there were iterations and versions of suspension on Model 3 that, have changed from the inception to make it a little bit softer, a little bit more compliant. But in general, the car just always rode a little rough, and you always get this body porpoising motion over road joints and other things like that. And I just think in general, they did not the best job tuning this car for comfort, for performance. What the heck is going on over here? Take a look at this. We've got some activity happening.
Ooh, someone went the wrong. Is this a police chase that just finished?
It kind of feels that way, doesn't it? I don't really see an accident or anything. Oh, there's a Golf there or a Jetta.
Jetta that just stopped. Yeah, a bunch
Wow,
of
that
cars.
seems like a lot of commotion for the fender
Really
bender.
Not sure what's going on.
Anyway, this is not really about power and speed, but it's all you need.
I've always thought even the rear-wheel drive single motor, it's fine.
I did a video with my dad on our Out of Spec Reviews channel about the Model 3 rear-wheel drive of this generation, which my dad owned 2 of,
Yep.
saying best car in the world.
Yep.
This was before Highland came out, when this was the only thing. And yeah, for the price at the time and the rest of the market and what they were doing when this car was in its period, there was almost nothing out there that could compete, Jordan.
Right.
It was just absolutely the most efficient thing. Great software, great phone as a key, great updates. And I still think, like, sitting here where I'm driving, this car just feels right to me.
Yeah. It's not premium. And I think people gave it flack for when it came out. Some people were touting it as like, oh, luxury sedan. But it's like they were tying the word Tesla to luxury because of Model S.
Right.
But this is really the entrance to Tesla not being luxury. And I don't think that's the point. It's just a really, really good car.
This was like 40 grand.
Yeah, people are like, oh, it's an appliance. It's like, yes, that's the point.
Yeah, absolutely. And
But it's an appliance that drives well, which is unique.
yeah, here's a corner. Let's just send it through. Dude, look at that. Fun. And I think that's kind of the magic, is like you give up the ride quality to be able just to huck it through corners like that.
Yeah, but it's funny. It was funny to see early journalist reviews of the Model 3 because a lot of people praised it because the ride was so sporty. And journalists were like, well, is it sporty? Okay, then I'm in. Whereas a lot of other people were like, this is my daily driver. I wish it was smoother.
Let's just send it through here.
Something about a rear-wheel drive sedan.
They just feel right. You always just get a little bit of movement on that rear axle and then shoot out of the corner.
Even the key says white M3, and that's basically what we're in.
Okay,
right now.
can I complain for a second? That guy almost hit a mailbox. I mean, he got the performance spirit in the Denali.
The things we see out here.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, the M3 thing, it's a Model 3, okay? Not to be that guy, but I am that guy. When someone writes M3, I just go, ooh,
Yeah.
Don't know if I could talk to you again.
You hear that, Tesla?
Yeah. Okay, the early cars had issues though, Jordan.
Yeah.
Rattles, this car's filled with them.
Yep.
I've got one right in my ear right here. Super annoying.
I hear one behind us too, yeah.
Yeah, so we've got rattles, the back seat rattle is annoying,
Yep.
but that's not to say the new car is immune. We'll talk about that.
Yep.
And so I just think these things age a little bit poorly.
Yeah. And then especially rental cars. Like I said, a lot of Model 3s exist out there in the used market that are very cheap, but you won't have a really high-end car experience.
Yeah, so I think, if you get an early 3 of the previous generation, this first generation 3, no matter the year, it's going to be a little bit bumpy. It's going to have maybe not the best ride quality. I mean, certainly not the best ride quality.
Yeah.
For comfort, for performance, it's actually like, you can do quite a bit. We should also mention there are like plenty of upgrades available for this car.
Yeah.
So you can really upgrade it all you want. Let's just make sure we're not going to cause another accident in the same spot.
Aftermarket's definitely exploded with these, and even once you're tired of driving it, you could just take the drivetrain, throw it in something else now.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, just the steering is great. Like, this chassis will go down, and a lot of my friends who like run Model 3 racing series and stuff, like, you can do so much with this car.
Yep.
It's so versatile, it's so fun, it's so tossable. You can get the enhance auto sexy buttons to turn off stability control and all that stuff, and then it's just a drift machine. So there is this real underlying sports sedan aspect here.
Yeah.
That I think was lost on most buyers who are just trying to get to the grocery store and to work and back.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the new car solves. But if you're into performance driving, the old car this car might be the one to go for.
Yeah. I mean, the new car has the performance variant, but then you're looking at way more money.
Okay, we're going to hit the train tracks 40 miles an hour this way. See how it feels. Yeah, that's where you get the whole body porpoise.
Body porpoising, secondary rattles.
Yeah, gosh. Oh, and that's just the thing with these. You got to turn up the volume. And the sound systems work better, the premium sound system in this gen than the new gen.
Yep, I have to agree with subwoofer placement and everything.
Yep, totally. 100 times better. So let's get in your car now.
Right.
And just see, like, is it worth the money? I would argue, even before, I haven't driven your car in a while, I think just the road noise alone would drive me a little bit crazy in this car. Because that's my big issue when I drive my old 3 now.
Yeah.
It used to never bother me. Then I got the Model S, and I go, wow, why am I listening to all this crap in the car? I just want silence.
But what's crazy is you can get a Model 3 like yours, 2019, I mean, 6-year-old car with FSD. And sure, it's hardware 3, it's not hardware 4, but still, you've been living with FSD in your hardware 3 cars.
Yeah, it's great.
No problem. Like, think about how that compares to the driver assistance of so many other cars built this year.
Think about what you can get for an old e-Golf, Jordan.
There, now we're talking. 2-car solution. All right, welcome to modernity.
Nice door thunk. Way more solid.
Yeah.
So we've got the AC ripping. I'm just gonna take it out, put it down a little bit. So auto shift, big difference. The old car does not support auto shift.
Right.
So it's just put on the brake and then go. So you're taking all the steps out of everything. Ignore the stocks because you've modified this car.
Yeah, and I'll probably
which
take
actually
them.
that's, oh wait.
They feel pretty good.
Why
but
is it not going into
you
reverse?
you have to wait for the commander to connect.
Oh.
Yeah,
I hate that.
I don't like the implementation. It's not instant. It's not.
Oh, okay.
Once
Advanced
it
auto,
can, once
they gotta fix that.
Yeah, once it connects, then it's really great. But give it a minute.
Holy smokes!
And if I didn't have the knob, you would never know when it connects. The knob is the only thing that has a screen on it, and so you're just like waiting.
You know what? I totally don't want these anymore. Totally don't want them. Unless they can hardwire it somehow. I gotta talk to them about that. I love Enhanced Auto. Like, I love everything they offer.
Really cool, nerd.
Still not connected.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's ignore that. Let's get into the car. New car, seating position, and seats and everything. I'm gonna go for the cooled seats because that's new now.
Yeah, that's what I do. Every time I get in here, cooled maximum.
Why does it go auto on the first hit?
Yeah, I don't like that.
It never knows what I want.
Yeah.
Because I'm just, just let me choose manual. Get rid of that. Who uses the auto seat control setting? And how are you not in an insane asylum?
If you're in the comments, defend yourself, because I'm curious.
It doesn't know. I usually want it blazing hot or ice cold.
Yep.
And it's always just like, meh.
Yep.
Okay, first of all, steering wheel got uglier.
Yeah, it did.
I like this down here. The wheel still feels great in the hand.
Yeah.
But the old wheel I thought was just like kind of a really nice wheel.
Yep.
This feels a bit uglier, and you've got the buttons here for turn signals that I think is a real miss. I missed the old stocks out of the old car, Jordan.
Ooh, commander disconnected by that.
Oh, thank goodness. Nope.
Well, maybe not.
Does it like lag and then you'll be driving and probably not, right?
No.
Okay. That'd be really funny. Yeah, so it feels good in here.
Yeah.
Seats, I don't like the new seats as much.
Yeah.
I actually like the old seats better.
I do think these are comfortable, but the old seat is just a step up. And I don't know why. It's like they have more cushioning.
Yeah.
Because I've done really long road trips in both cars now. And yours are a little bit more comfortable for that long haul. But the cooled seat for me makes it. Like, I'll pick these anytime because of that.
I think they slowed down the rack in this car at all, do you think? They did in Model Y.
Maybe.
It still is very sharp and quick.
Yeah, it's still Model 3 things.
Okay, so we should also mention just the noise difference, Jordan. Oh, okay, I'm into the stock for the turn signal. You can't hear anything on the outside of this car right now.
It's so quiet.
Whoa, dude, this is night and day. Your alignment's off too.
Yeah.
You still haven't fixed it?
Nope.
You need to bring it in.
Okay.
This is annoying. How do you drive like this?
I don't drive.
Oh, gosh. Does this work now? No.
Weird.
Maybe it got disconnected.
That's possible.
Dude, your alignment's off in the other way of the other car.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's off to the right. You're off to the left.
Yeah.
So let's go 40 miles an hour and see what... Oh, FSD. Don't want to use you. Yeah, let's see how the test is. First of all, road noise, way quieter.
Yeah.
Totally quiet. And wind noise, still hear some.
Yep.
But nowhere near as much. All right, let's go 39. I think we hit it. Oh, wow. Did we hit a bump?
I don't know.
That was impressive. This alignment would drive me crazy. I don't know how you live with this. I mean, you're literally going like this.
Yep.
It's quiet.
Yeah.
It's comfortable.
Yeah, double pane glass, more sound deadening materials added. And I have the bass sound system, which has no sub at all, and it still really helps because you just have less noise you're fighting against.
Mm-hmm.
So like your car, I don't even bother with a podcast because you have to crank the volume so high to hear it.
Yeah.
Whereas on this, podcast all day.
I wonder if the audience will be able to tell the noise difference between the two, because this is night and day.
I'm going to be editing them the exact same.
It's actually shocking how quiet this is in comparison.
No, it feels like a completely modern, nicer, like this takes a step up to like borderline luxury, whereas your Model 3 didn't.
From a noise perspective, yes, it's very quiet in here. And certainly, like, okay, knowing this exists, it's really hard, unless maybe you are, like, you have to really not care about hearing, or you or listening to noise, or maybe you're deaf.
Yeah.
And that's where this would make a lot of sense. Going for the old one, but in any normal scenario, here's the car that got hit.
Oh, that's the side we didn't see. So
that was
definitely got hit.
Legit impact there, wasn't it? This is just another world.
Yeah.
This is
it's a
worth
really
every penny.
Nice place to be. Road trips, daily driving, I mean, it doesn't really matter.
So let's talk about the suspension really quick.
Yeah.
Completely similar geometry from the old car. However, this uses now a different damper. Now, my understanding is you can actually retrofit this frequency response damper onto the old car.
That'd be really interesting.
Yeah, I'd love to try that with someone.
Yeah.
If there's a viewer who lives in Colorado who has an old 3 who'd like to upgrade, and we'll pay for the upgrade. No, we won't pay for the upgrade. You'll pay for the upgrade. So you want us to film it.
Yep.
Bring it by the office before and after. We'll shoot a little thing.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting.
Yeah, because my understanding is, it should just bolt right up, and this damper just smooths out the whole car.
Yep.
It makes it so that it can be nice and soft and relaxed, but when you get a big jolt or a big input, it can stiffen up.
Yep.
And actually support the weight of the car pretty well in that scenario. So, even just cruising over these bumps, Jordan, there's no rattle.
Yep.
It's so much better. New Model 3 does have some rattle points that are known, especially in the performance. This piece rattles.
Yeah, it's like carbon fiber, and it has like a weird rattle on all driving. It's really obnoxious.
Okay, let's go through this corner real quick. Yeah, it definitely feels softer and less agile than the old car.
Yeah, interesting.
Which is fine, though. It's still fun. It's still great, but it doesn't have that crazy, insane, hardcore performance edge.
Yep.
Not that the old car is hardcore, but that just felt okay, like even a bit spicier than this one would. And we'll just do the same thing we did going the other way. So let's rip it full send. This feels faster, Jordan.
Yeah, it is faster. So there was a bit more power added. Even the new Highland LFP is a bit slower than the long range.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay.
So it's close to just a hair under 300 horsepower.
We're doing 55 miles an hour, which is the speed limit. So quiet.
Yeah, it's quieter than the other car was at 40.
Oh my goodness. It's smoother, it's quieter, it's way more refined.
Yeah.
And I'm so impressed. From a daily driving perspective, I really think this, just serenity and quietness, is worth every penny. Now, is it a $20,000 delta? Maybe not, but it's certainly worth every bit of $5,000 to $10,000 more to me.
Right. I agree. And you also have to consider things of like future proof. Like this does have a faster screen, quicker processor.
Yeah, less bezel.
Less bezel, just a nicer screen overall.
Yeah, way brighter too, by the way.
And this has hardware 4, which will be more, definitely not the entire future. We're already seeing that. But hardware 3, I'm worried about being, I don't know about cut off, but just like lack of improvements.
It seems like we're using every bit of performance in hardware 3.
Yeah.
Even to the point where they slow down the screen.
Yeah.
So that it can work harder, I guess. And then, Jordan, the one last thing I did want to bring up is the new cars also suffer from a rear rattle tray where the subwoofers go.
Yeah.
Like behind the rear seats. Your car is not equipped with them, but all of them seem to rattle back there.
Interesting.
And from my understanding, Tesla's only fix is just to jam foam, like spray foam, into that panel to try and just lock everything in place.
Sounds all right.
I'm not sure if the fix is really there, because Brandon's had speakers replaced and other stuff in his car.
Yeah.
And so either way, that's the main annoyance, is the rattles, even in the new car. Not nearly as bad as the old car, but they still haven't dialed it in. And dude, I hit the same bump in the other car.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's so much smoother. So it's the rattles, and the high performance sound system in this car kind of is way boomy and like resonance.
You can dial it in to be better, but it's just not as good as the outgoing one, which is a bummer, especially after hearing the new Juniper Model Y system.
39, let's test. Actually, still a lot of motion, but not bad.
Yep.
Yeah, it still could be if it was longer, softer.
Yep.
But it's totally less jarring.
Yep.
Yeah, totally agree. I just think they had the sound system so perfect. Like I get in my old 3, and if I just sit there and listen to music, it sounds amazing.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And it's broken in, and it's just perfect. And not so much the case in the new cars.
Yeah, it's very clear, but you just don't get the fullness. And if you try to crank the bass to get that fullness, that's where the boominess comes from, because the subs are just rear partial shelf pointed up. Not a good position.
And then we should focus a little bit on, sort of range and efficiency with the new car versus the old car. I don't think it's big enough to make a purchasing decision.
Yeah, for most people's driving, it wouldn't be a big deal, but it is substantial. It's just not like night and day. Like we were really impressed with the improvements of the Highland.
I hate this.
Yeah. Wait, is that right? Stock work now?
Oh, I don't know. Yes.
Okay.
Weird. That was annoying. So like that's my old 3 right there. We keep talking about it. That's it.
Yep.
Love that car. We'll never sell that car.
Yep.
So great.
150,000 miles.
Yeah. It's just been dead reliable.
Yeah.
The only thing I've had to do really was replace the 12 volt, and I had one valve in the cooling system go.
Mm-hmm.
That was the most expensive repair, was $800.
Wow.
Which isn't bad.
Yeah, after 150,000 miles.
And I just got a $2,000 bill for my Sprinter. So like, okay, I'm pretty happy with how that car has worked out. Should you buy the old one or the new one, Jordan? So what really are the values for the old one? You can get like a decent one in the teens, right?
Yeah. There's many under 20 grand.
And what is this base new?
Like 40.
Get the old one.
Yeah.
I think you can get the old one, spend some time like dynamat everything.
Yeah.
Just try to make it dead quiet. Like clearly if you're in the market for a new car, I think it's still really hard to beat these things.
Yep.
But the fact that the depreciation on those cars, especially right now, because there's an influx of them in the market, has really driven the price down. You're getting, the same exact drivetrain, or near as makes no difference.
Yeah.
You're getting the same supercharging network, the great app connectivity. Yeah, it's hardware 3, but so many of our viewers are not really into the FSD thing yet. I know we are.
Yeah.
And I think if you can find one with FSD and someone doesn't really know it has it, that's always the secret buy.
Yep.
Is try to find an FSD used car that's not subscription, that actually had it purchased, because then I think Tesla will have to update it.
Yeah.
At least to a certain extent. I don't know what they can and can't do. But this is no question a much nicer car.
Yep.
But I think it's a $10,000 nicer car.
Yeah.
Because you have to factor the car's got to be able to drive you around, do everything. Each car can accomplish that the same.
Yep. They're both appliances. But it really depends, I mean, how much you value things like cooled seats and ambient lighting and things that people complain about the other car not having, but is it really worth that much?
I don't think it's worth 20 grand.
Yeah.
I think, if you're buying new, yeah, that's great. But if you're in between like a low mileage, like that 10,000 mile Model 3 LFP,
yeah,
if that's like even $18,000-$19,000,
yep,
I would do that all day long over dropping another 20 grand on this.
Yeah. Gonna be really curious to see how the Highland depreciates with the used market, but
yeah, they'll hold their value.
Time will tell.
For the time being, I think.
Yeah.
These refresh ones, because this is such a nice car.
Yep.
And this feels almost underpriced from the factory.
Right, compared to so many other cars that are like more expensive and less featured.
We test stuff that's like 60, 70 grand all the time, and we're like, this really kind of sucks. And then here this is at 40, and it can do way more than almost anyone else can do.
Yeah, that's why we have it. It's a good benchmark.
Absolutely, absolutely. So there we go. Model 3s, I think, go old.
Yep.
If you're budget buying or buying on a budget, or considering money with your shopping, however I can put it properly, go for the old one. The old one's still great, Jordan. Love the old 3.
Yeah.
Really do. And no question though, if you can spring for it, this is a really nice car. Like if you're going to do a ton of miles and you're going to keep the car for a long time.
Yeah, can't wait to see how these age, 200,000 miles later.
Yeah, I wonder what the rattles will be like. It's got to be better than the old ones. The old ones came rattly.
Right.
Yeah, but these still have, like I said, those 2 pinpoint problems that drive me insane.
Yep.
Thanks so much for watching another Out of Spec Bits episode. Just a fun one. Happened to have that car here from Tesla. And shout out to them for giving us a loaner.
Yep.